Hey everyone, welcome to Meetup with MeLa. Cheers for our part of our relationship series. Cheers, Val. Cheers, Aaron and Mike. We're here today to basically build on our relationship series, which has been featured in the month of February. Geez, I can't even remember the month. Welcome again to Meetup with MeLa. You can check out this episode and other episodes on Meetup with MeLa on the YouTube channel and other platforms as well, like Spotify. And today we are doing, again, like I said, our relationship series, and this is our the singles edition. So very excited to have these special guests. Like I said, we have Val, we have Mike, and we have Aaron and myself, and we are all single and dating, or like we're heading to dating, but none of us are in serious relationships as of now, but who knows what the future will bring. So definitely exciting stuff, and we hope we have some exciting topics for you. As always, you can see on the bottom of the screen, again, the different ways to follow Meetup with MeLa, and as well as the MJR and Friends podcast as well, that Michael does. So definitely a lot of great topics on there. We're excited to have you, Michael, as my special guest. And if you guys saw the New Year's edition, Michael introduced me and my podcast at that time. So really excited to have him back.
I'm not used to being on the other side right now.
Yes. Well, hopefully you'll stay well behaved. And I am the host of Meetup with MeLa, not Michael. So anyway, so we'll have a good time today. Hopefully some good conversation. And again, let us know what you think. So thanks so much for joining today. So the first thing, so welcome everyone. Hope everyone's having a good day. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And the first thing we want to talk about, as we are all single, what are some of the perks that you guys think in terms of just being single? I've been out of a relationship now for a little bit, so definitely I definitely have had some perks. I've never been married, so that's, I've basically always been single, I guess, in that way, but haven't been in a long-term relationship for a little while now. So I don't know. What are you guys thinking in terms of some of the perks of being single, and how are you enjoying your current circumstances?
Can I start?
Val?
Okay. So I think there are so many perks to being single. I think there's this quote that I love, and it's called, "This is your life, so hire, fire, and promote accordingly." So being single is like just that. You get to, first of all, meet all different kinds of people. You're free. You're not tied down. You're free to go on as many dates as you want, meet as many people as you want, get to know people. And this is how you can see who's compatible with you, and you can move someone to the friend zone, move someone to, like, I'm not going to talk to them ever again, or, oh, this is someone that I feel like we have a connection, let me get to know them better. So when you're single, you have options. And to move yourself into a relationship, I feel like you want to make sure you're making the right decision. So when you're single, you got to take advantage of this opportunity that you don't have to, like, just commit to one person when you're single. I think with me, I've always been a relationship person, so it's hard for me to, like, date multiple people at once. But I think that that's the best situation I've learned, is because, like, if you go into it, like, excited and just meeting different people and just seeing where they'll end up in your life, right? Don't always have these high expectations, like, this has got to be the one. If we're not compatible, then that's it. No, they could be a friend. You could still talk to them after that, or and stuff like that. So it's exciting because you're free, and you can meet all different kinds of people, and you have no ties whatsoever. So I think it's just the freedom alone to meet people, and to just every day, I'm like, I'm excited for the people I haven't met yet. I'm excited for the people I haven't connected with. And I think even just if it's just one date, it's like you can get to know somebody and learn a little bit about yourself in a situation. Like, what will I do differently next date? What will I do differently the next time? Or then you can kind of see, like, that person, there's something about them that I didn't really like if I, to go forward. So now it helps you to like see what kind of person you are really looking for. So there's a lot of opportunity to be single because you get to just experience a lot.
Yeah, no, that's definitely well said. And what do you guys think, Mike and Aaron, like in terms of what are some of the perks that you've experienced while you've been single?
Well, I think being single, the biggest perk is time, and not just time on the clock, but well, meaning time on the clock, meaning time to develop yourself,
Mm,
having all the time in the world. And again, that's a good and bad thing, but having all the time in the world to develop yourself. And one of the things you said is meeting new people. There's no one is there to hold you. No one is there to tell you you can't do something. You are able to be free and develop yourself. And the biggest thing is time. I think the second biggest thing is you and me. And again, with the developing myself, being able to, you're not technically single. Maybe you're single to the dating life, but you're not single to your work. You're not single to your craft, to your friendships, which
mm.
at the end of the day are very important. And you see a lot of people, once they get into a relationship, they forget about their friends. and 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 that's the thing. I think being single allows you the ability to work on those things, to give you time to study and those habits, so that when you do find someone that can add to your life and you can add to their life, it's beneficial for both of you. I think a lot of people just want to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship and say that they're in a relationship, but if it's not working, if that person's not compatible with you while you're single, now is that time to find that compatible person. But you also got to make sure that you are the compatible type as well. Those are definitely perks of single.
I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you,
Me
Michael.
too.
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah, it was like cutting in and out a little bit, but no, definitely. I certainly agree with what you're saying as well. And Aaron, would you like to add like some of like what the perks are for you of like being single or what
Yeah,
they have been being single?
I would have to agree with Michael. I'm sorry, can you hear me clearly or?
Yes.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Michael just for free time. You get to prioritize yourself. You get to work on growing spiritually, professionally, without being tied down. And how Michael, I have to agree 100% with what Michael said, how a lot of people will get in a relationship and they'll forget about their friends. But also, I think that there's a dynamic where some people may not be comfortable with you having platonic women friends. So
That's a
you
good
need to
point.
choose in between the two. And I
Hmm.
think just the freedom is something that's huge.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. I think my biggest thing is like the one of the biggest perks I think of being single is just in terms of just being able to like you guys had also mentioned as well, is just like the self-development that comes from it because I think that again, it's like it's your time to focus on who you are, who you want to be, and especially if your goal is to go into another relationship, use that time to really get to know what do I want in life? Who do I want to be with to experience life with, which I think is so important. And for me too, it's about like you said as well, Aaron, it's like, having those relationships and being able to maintain and solidify some really strong relationships, whether it's friendships or with the opposite sex. I know some of the big things too is like, I feel like I need time right now in terms of being able to continue with my education. I'm halfway through my doctorate program at this point, but it takes a lot of time. And I started teaching this year on top of my regular job. So at the medical school. So again, it's like that's taken a lot of time for me to just be able to sort of experience those things and not really feel the need to apologize to somebody in the sense of like, I'm sorry, I'm not able to give you the time right now, because I know that I would feel really conflicted if that's the case. But at the same time, I also know there's some things that I need to do for myself just to make sure that I have the brightest future ahead that I want to have. So I definitely agree with what you guys are saying as well. And Michael, do you want to do a mic check?
Testing 1 2, mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 5.
Okay. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now we can. Perfect.
Nice.
Okay. So, what would you say? I can start off with this one, kick this one off in terms of the drawbacks of being single. I think my biggest thing is at the end of the day, it's like just being able to process out some information of things that I've been going through and actually having someone that's listening and caring. I think that's one of the biggest things. Especially I think in the world of COVID, it has been difficult in terms of obviously having like physical connection and just even someone just to hug you, rub your back or something like that. I think that's one of my biggest drawbacks of being single. So I think just overall isolation. So I don't know, and just knowing that someone's out there that cares about you and wants to know that you made it home okay at the end of the night, wants to know how your day is. I think that's one of the biggest drawbacks for me personally. What would you guys say?
So I agree with you 100%, and that's what I was going to touch upon as well. Is that like for me, I've always been in relationships, so it's hard for me because like when you're dating, you can't. It takes a long time to get to be like close with somebody and have that like connection with someone. So when you're dating, you're not on that level yet. So there's a lot of things that you can't say or do when you're just dating different people. So I tend to at times miss like that close connection with someone, that like best friend, like someone, that I can be with. I know like every once in a while, like you said, like you want to be able to like have that person who's like checking on you, who really cares about you, who knows you, to like go on vacations with and stuff like that. And I think I missed that, like growing with somebody, and building with somebody and already past that, all of those like little phases. So I miss that. The drawback of that is that there's times when you do wish you were in a relationship and had that like close bond with somebody that you were growing with. So that's one of the things I miss.
Definitely agreed, Val.
I think another drawback of being single is analyzing too much of other people, and especially when you are, dating or in the process of going out with someone. I think analyzing the situation so much because you are single, you might feel lonely, you might feel like you don't have a connection with anyone, and then when you finally have a connection with one person, you you overanalyze it and you're like, oh, why did they do this? Why did they do that? How come they haven't called me? Why are they talking to other people? Why are they liking everyone else's pictures? And it's like that's definitely a drawback of being single, for sure. But I would say another big one too is, and I know it sounds goofy, but holidays.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
think I think around the holidays, yeah, you have your friends, and I have you have very close connections with other people, but I don't know. Sometimes when you see other people, together during the holidays and they're together with someone, that of course is a drawback. But I know for me, I don't feel this way, but for a lot of people, it's feeling lonely, and they feel like they're the only ones on earth and they have no one else to talk to. And unfortunately, that it's a truth for a lot of people that they just feel lonely and they need someone um, in their life. But I would name those couple things definitely drawbacks for sure.
hmm
I agree with what everyone said just about the loneliness and the isolation. But something that Val said really stuck out to me is just the ability to be able to grow with somebody.
Mm.
And I think there's no substitute with history with someone. Just knowing that someone knows you inside and out and being able to bounce things off of them and vice versa, and having that interaction on a regular basis with someone who cares for you and who you care for is probably the biggest drawback.
And I think that
Yeah.
connection too makes like it can make you feel 100% better. You could be super happy about yourself always and always be happy and love life, but there is always something about having a connection with someone, whether it's a friend, but especially if it's someone that you're dating and having that connection, it just makes you even feel tenfold even better about yourself. Even if you're already 100% feeling better, you feel even more amazing. So definitely the feeling too.
I definitely agree. And I think the biggest thing is we're such social beings. So there's really nothing actually natural about human beings like just wanting to be isolated. And I do think there's certainly times that, we do choose for different reasons to be single or circumstances. But I do think a huge thing is like wanting to just have some real genuine connections. And I think that is huge. Like you were saying, Aaron, as well. I mean, just being able to connect. And Val, I know you had mentioned as well. It's just that genuine connection and growing with someone, I think, is huge. And having those common goals that you feel like, you have some accountability too. It's like, you're checking in with each other, you're growing with each other, and you're actualizing your goals and dreams with that person. And that's really a very like intimate and unique thing to experience with another individual. And, just amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And I think that's tough. I think one of the other drawbacks too, like Michael, you were saying in terms of holidays and stuff, it's like nobody wants to feel like they're like that one person. And then like you're looking around. I know sometimes too, it's like just looking around and not understanding, like, why does it seem like everyone else has got matched up, or work events? I mean, luckily through COVID, we haven't had a lot of work events where you're expected to bring someone, but that can be sometimes the worst thing. Weddings or something like that. And everyone's like having like a ball and you're like celebrating like a marriage and a wedding, which you're excited to be at, but it's like it sometimes just highlights how alone you are in that moment. So It's like that can be really awkward and really difficult. And I don't think people realize how difficult that can be for someone that is single, because it's just it can be really tough emotionally, but also just feeling like you're a fish out of water in that way. So, and I think sometimes there's a lot of expectations put on people too, especially once you get to be a certain age, like, so are you looking for anyone? What's going on? And you're almost like, how much of your story do you have to explain that you're, by yourself? So I definitely think that's another huge one as well. So, but there are a lot of drawbacks. There are a lot of drawbacks to being single.
And Melissa, you just made me think of that statement that I can't stand that statement. This statement, ready? How come you're single? Why are you not with anybody? How are you single? I hate that. It's like it make it seem like it's such a bad thing, and then you have to like justify why you're single and try to make it is that statement. I can't stand when people ask that, like, why, like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, and it's also like I've had that too, like, even when you start talking to someone, sometimes like starting to date or like even on a website, it's like, oh my God, like you seem so great. Why are you single? And then you're almost like start to think like, is it me? Did I do something wrong? Like, I don't know. It's just like I haven't found the right person. But like it almost makes it sound like you've done something wrong that you're in this situation, like you're in timeout, like I'm here by myself in the corner because I don't know how to act, that's how it feels sometimes. So
someone actually said to me on a dating site, their opening statement in my message box was, what's wrong with you? Why are you single?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how to answer that. Like, how could you be single? What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. What is it? I'm like,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, and then you're almost like, well, why am I even going to constitute this with like an answer?
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Definitely. Yeah, I think that's definitely a big one. So I wanted to touch base too, because in this day and age, I think it's more than common that, unfortunately people aren't necessarily meeting organically, like, you have a family friend and they're connecting you with someone they know and that they think you might have similar interests with. A lot of people are obviously turning to online dating sites, and that's a huge, huge thing. I know I've been on a slew of different dating sites at different points in my life, some better than others. And sometimes I think it's just tough because at any given time, it's like whoever's on there is on there. Sometimes you'll see the same faces on different dating sites. I've been in experiences more recently where you're on dating sites and I'm like, oh my God, like, please don't contact me. We've already been on a date and it was horrible. Like, leave me alone. And I'm like, okay, time to move on, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to know a little bit about your experiences in terms of dating online. And do you guys actually think at this point, have any of you had luck in terms of, ways that you are able to connect with people outside of like dating online and potentially having, maybe dating or developing a relationship?
Well, I would say for tips for dating online, like one of the things, not even online, tips for dating in general, sometimes you really have to try to take your emotions out of things, out of the whole situation. Um, there is this quote that I love, and I live by my quotes, and it's rejection equals redirection. Okay, so
Oh, I love
rejection
that.
equals redirection. So just because you're not like hitting it off with someone, or they're not, calling you back, or they're not interested in you, it doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with you, right? It doesn't mean that you have to sit there and worry about that or be stuck on that person. It just means like this wasn't meant to be. It's like, if it's not, like the universe is saying no, there's a reason for it, and now redirect yourself to someone else or to another situation. And that goes for like online, offline, really anything in life. Like, you have to get used with rejection. You have to get used to the fact that you're not going to be for everybody. You have to get used to the fact that someone, you might be so into someone and want somebody so bad, but they might not be it for you. You guys might not be compatible. Don't force connections.
Yes.
And take your time just to get to know somebody, and let it happen organically. That's my like tip, I guess. And then the other tip is online, for online dating. You're meeting this person, and the rural computer, right? So you have to be honest. Be honest. And I said this in another podcast with you, like the previous one. You're not here to convince people that you're for them, that you can fit and be for them. Whatever they say they like, if let them like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, let be yourself, be honest, because it saves yourself a lot of time, wasted time, trying to force a connection or try to be somebody you're not. And that all comes down to like just really like loving who you are, loving, the uniqueness about you, and realizing that there is somebody out there that's going to love that all about you. So when you're online, don't look at it like, oh, another failed person, another failed connection. Look at it like, I just haven't got to that point yet, that person yet.
Definitely. I definitely agree. What are your thoughts, Michael?
Well, in terms of tips, I have no tips, because I've never had success with online dating, because I gave up. I would do it for a day, and then I would go, I'm not doing this anymore. And that's just me, because I like the in person. I like I don't know, that the technology just doesn't do it for me. And I think another downside to online dating is, I mean, yeah, it's great, especially during COVID. But I think a downside to that is people just see your looks. They don't see your feeling. They don't see who you
That's
are around
true.
other people. And you're basically just getting looked at, and you're like, oh, all right, you're cute, man, right. People tell you they look through your bio, please. Not everyone looks through a bio. Some people don't even have a bio. They're swiping you on your looks 80% of the time, unless they're really invested and really engaged and want to find someone exactly for them. 90% of the people are looking at your are looking at your looks, and if they think you're cute, bam. They don't think you're cute, bam. And I think that's the downside to online dating. I just don't have any patience for that. I'm the type that rather, I want to meet you in person. I want to talk to you in person. And if we can have a great conversation beforehand, then we can do it. But online dating, I know for me, is just not for me. I have no interest in it at all. Um, yeah, yeah, that's my
Do
thoughts
you
on it.
find it like easy though, like in terms of, if that's the case, like, are you the one to sort of initiate the conversation and ask the person out then, Mike, in terms of like, like say if you're at like a party or like an event, like, do you sort of just go by like a certain vibe? Like you might have had good conversation throughout the night. Like what do you do at that point? Like in terms of getting to that next step?
Well, first of all, can you guys hear me? But we're good now.
Yes.
Is it
Yep.
good now? Okay. Well, the
Perfect.
first thing I look at is, like, how are they socially? How are they with their friends? Are they having a good time? Because that's the number one thing, and that's the perks of being single. You can go out with your boys tonight, or your girlfriends, or whatever, and you're worried about them. And I think that's a lot of people get misconstrued, is when they go out. I'm going out to get girls tonight. I'm going out to get a dude, whatever. And I like to see, like, if a girl is very social, or just having fun with their friends, and they don't care what else, if they're dancing to the music and having a good time, and they don't care how everyone else is looking at them or whatever, that's awesome. Um,
Hmm.
and if we can have a conversation, like, if with me it's music, like if I see someone singing, you know, Justin Biebs at a bar or something, and I'm like, I love this song. I'm gonna talk to them. I'm gonna sing with them, and we can start up a conversation. If the conversation flows, that's good, and that's all things you can't do with online dating.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that's what makes me try to stay away with it at least.
No, definitely, I agree. And yeah, definitely, Michael, you're quite the charmer there, especially out with your singing and dancing and stuff. So watch out for him, ladies, especially if you catch him at a bar and you're singing Justin Bieber, for sure. But no, I think that is great though, because again, I think you sort of know what you're looking for, and you do know what you're looking for. And I think at the same time, it's actually nice because I think people are always, I think they should appreciate like when someone's actually like, hey, I actually noticed, you're having a great time with your friends, you're laughing, you're talking. And again, it seems like it's based on something that's not as superficial as, like you said, a screenshot, on online dating as well. But I do think that it is tough, unfortunately, having, meeting some of these people in organic settings, and especially, like I said, in terms of COVID. What are your thoughts, Aaron? Like, have you had experiences with online dating sites that may have worked for you, or any tips that you recommend?
No, I don't really have much experience with online dating. More of somebody similar to Michael. I like to do things organically, and I feel like anyone can be witty or funny over a messaging board. You know what I mean? It's like meeting someone in person, you get a feel for their energy and stuff like that. And I just feel like with online dating, you don't get that.
I think some of the biggest things like I think of in terms of online dating too, it's like sometimes it's like, someone can come across like, again, like you said, in the messaging platform, you're going back and forth. Then like sometimes I've seen right away where someone's like, when can I take you out? And it's like, wait a minute, let's have a conversation or have a few conversations or FaceTime. I have been shocked when people, like, you almost know within a minute to 5 minutes of having a conversation and the tone that someone's taking, it's like, whoa, I am so happy that I did not commit to any kind of date from that initial conversation, because you can't even believe it. I mean, I think like some of the stuff that people say, and like I think I've realized about myself is like, I need someone that really has good manners. Like, even just being on the phone, they're like talking to someone else. Oh, sorry, I wasn't even talking to you. It's like, I'm sorry, you called me and you're not talking to me. You're talking to who? Like saying like, oh, hold on, this, that. And I'm thinking, I cannot put myself in a situation that I would want to go to a restaurant with this person, on a further date with this person. Like the conversation is just not there. Swearing, using like racial profanities, like, like it's just like, in terms of like, it's just like common language. And I'm thinking like, I'm cringing because this is the first impression that I'm having of you. And it's like, you know what? This is horrible. But I think sometimes people are so unaware. And I think that brings up like with online dating, I think a lot of people are just like, they're just throwing like a huge net and just seeing whoever they can get. And they're not putting sometimes the time and energy into things that they should. And they'll just like, okay, are we on or not? And moving on. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we're moving on because I'm not going to commit to, something that just doesn't seem sincere. But however, I have been in situations where I think there's some really good, honest people, including myself, and obviously you guys as well, that, we really are going on online dating because our regular lives just don't, give us opportunities to talk to people, so again, it's like, I mean, I know for myself, it's like my worlds end up being actually pretty small when it's going to work and coming home again and, possibly days working from home or whatever else. So, it is tough. I think it's really tough to weed out, and I think it can be very discouraging, and it takes a lot of tries. But one thing that I actually wanted to show you guys that I actually thought was really cool. I got this from a website, and I think it will be helpful for people that are doing online dating. And here it is. It's some of the best online dating sites of 2021. And some of these I thought were really cool because some of them are new, like things that some sites that I had actually never heard of, and what they're actually good for too. And I think sometimes this helps. Granted, I mean, this is a generalization, but like Bumble, they're saying best for confident women. So, which I've never been on Bumble, and I consider myself pretty confident. So, that might be something that's worth trying in the future. Tinder, best for quick and easy hookups. And I have to say, like, I did go on Tinder in the past and actually had a long-lasting relationship on Tinder. So, I guess sometimes it's like, you can take it for what it is, but OkCupid, best free dating site. Hinge, best for serious relationship seekers. Coffee Meets Bagel, best for breaking the silence. Happen, best for misconnections. And I guess this is more like based on like your location, and where people that I guess that are on that same site, they can do some like geo mapping, I guess, of where you're located, where they're located. The League, best for people with high standards. Her, best for lesbian, bisexual, and queer women. Clover, best for confirming a date. Plenty of Fish, best for conversations. Match, best for someone with money to spend. And eHarmony, best for marriage seekers. So that just gives a little bit of information. I'll certainly post that as well. The link that I got that from in terms of the article. I think that's ought to help sometimes too, maybe scale down in terms of, maybe matching up what you're looking for. But I thought that was sort of a neat thing to see as well, because again, I think sometimes people just don't even know where to start if they've been in a relationship for a long time. I would say the biggest thing too, like I always say with like online dating, is be safe. Again, meet in a public place. Do not just, chances are you do not know that person, and no one that knows that person. So take that very seriously. Meet in a public place. Sometimes a shorter date is a better date, like in the sense of, in the summertime, I think, there's been more opportunities to, maybe just even grab a quick drink or grab a coffee or grab a tea or something like that, take a walk, that kind of thing. Because again, you do not want to be locked into a day at Six Flags with someone for the first time, or you don't want to be locked into a overnight trip, or you do not want to be locked into any place that you might actually get physically locked into a trunk or something like that at the end of the day. I always say share your location if you can. I always share my location. Tell people where you're going. Don't feel bad getting as much information for that person. If someone doesn't, have some point people, if they don't hear from you by a certain time, like going to this restaurant, it's where the date's at 7. If you don't hear from me by 10, give me a call. If you don't hear from me by that point, have some real safety plans, because it is no joke. I mean, there are unfortunately people that do prey on people, especially online. So I think take that very seriously. Don't underestimate that.
Yeah.
Any other tips? Yeah.
No, but I will close out with saying that I agree with you about being safe. And because I haven't done a lot of online dating, and I never had anybody that I've met online. I've met really good friends, actually. Like, I've never met anyone that all of my relationships came from like meeting people in person. But the types of messages that I've received in my inbox, I can't even believe. I have a son, so I'm like, I have got to teach him to be better and do better for women, because the kind of stuff that I see is unbelievable. And you don't know, I guess it kind of freaks me out a little bit is when I see these messages, because you don't know if they really are who they are. And then the things that they're saying, if you're saying this to me, you haven't even met me yet. And if you're saying these things or sending these pictures and stuff that I can't even say right now, and that I think that sometimes like gives me like a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And honestly, you think to yourself, if you were to meet this person in person, the possibilities of something going very wrong, or them very much misinterpreting what this is about is actually very scary. It's very
pay attention to what they're typing or sending.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about dating during COVID. Have any of you guys gone on any dates? Like, just a raise of hands, has anyone gone on any dates during COVID?
Yeah.
Michael, you haven't been on any dates during COVID?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. You were just trying to stay anonymous over there.
So we had interrupter come into the room.
Oh, okay. No problem. What I was going to say is, just wanted to talk about some of your dating experiences during COVID. Have you guys thought about like, I don't know, like, how do you sort of manage? Like, are you sort of just like, okay, I'm just gonna hope for the best? Do you have conversations about COVID prior to dating? Like, what about, like, you know, if things like carry on and you do decide to kiss or anything like that? Like, what's the plan? I don't know. I think this is a tough one in terms of what to do, and especially now that it's the winter months where we're sort of all locked inside. We don't have as many options to do. So maybe, you know, outside dates. What have you guys thought about that?
I don't know. With me, it's people. I haven't really given that much thought, to be honest with you. Like before a date, like it's never been honestly a topic. Um, I mean, and again, it's not like, you know, I think with online dating, if I was doing that and I was meeting someone, you know, from Mass or something, or you know, someone I never met in my entire life, and I didn't know who they were, where they've been around. And okay, that might be a conversation, but at least for me, it hasn't been, because it's
Okay.
people that I know of and know what they do, like in terms of work and stuff.
Mhm.
So no, it hasn't been too much of a crazy. The only thing I would say is the issues are finding places. That's
Yeah.
the biggest issue. Everything is, even if you want to go out with your buddies or something, like finding places. Everything is a reservation now.
Yes.
There's no, oh, let's go try out here and come in. Oh, you need to book a reservation. That is
Mhm.
a huge one. But I think in terms of comfort, I haven't honestly been through that yet. But in terms of conversations, no. But I think um, finding places and ideas, that's definitely um, tougher now.
Mhm.
Yeah. And sorry.
No, go, Aaron.
You want to go to McDonald's, you have to book a reservation. It's like, I mean, I get it, but it's just, it's so different now.
Mhm. I feel like when asking someone out, you kind of go with whatever they feel most comfortable with.
Yeah.
If they decide to take off their mask, if they would like to go out to eat, then you have to kind of be comfortable with, at a certain point, you're going to have to take off your mask, and you can get tested afterwards. But what I do like about COVID is I don't feel like going out and getting something to eat is a first date, because
Yeah.
eating is something that we all have to do.
Yeah.
So I want to consider that a date, but I feel like COVID has definitely made people be more creative with the places. Like you could go kayaking for a first date. You could do
Mhm.
axe throwing for a first date.
That's
You could,
true.
you know, and I
Yeah.
feel like COVID has definitely opened up that door where you have to be more creative. You can't, as a man, you can't be as cliche as before.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that. I guess I haven't had any first dates that were anything more different than eating. You know, I haven't. That's cool though. I like that. I like that idea of doing different things. I know, like in the summertime. Well, I mean, I just got a relationship recently, so my dating during COVID hasn't been with new people hasn't been long, but um in the summertime it's so much easier because you can go to a park, you
Yes.
can go outside, you can do things. It's so much easier, you know. And then I think, isn't like the risk like a lot less like in the summer when you're outside? So
Mhm.
I would say with me, I guess it's like I just keep my fingers crossed, and I haven't really thought about COVID too much. I don't even, I drive myself, I meet up with people, I don't even get in the car with them, and it's got nothing to do with COVID. It's just because I don't trust anyone until I get to know them.
Yeah.
But I guess that can kind of keep me a little safer, you know. And then but I like the idea of doing like different things, you know, rather than, I'm always looking for different ideas, I guess, especially in Rhode Island. You know, there's like kind of limited during the winter time of what you can really do, and it usually always is like, what kind of food do you want to eat?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and sometimes like food is like certainly like the best way to someone's heart too. It's like,
yeah.
I brought you nachos, and I'm like, thank you, I'm in love already. And then I realized, like, okay, Melissa, calm down. You could have bought your own nachos. But anyway, I think like the other thing I have to say, I have seen some really cool, innovative ways to date and during COVID. One thing that I really liked was even like the idea of, especially with all these different apps now, food delivery apps like Grubhub and DoorDash and all those. There's a thing now where you can send food as like a gift. like send it as like a gift to someone. So the thing that's actually really nice is if there's any distance between you, or say the person's just not even feeling well, you can even like send them their favorite food, or like, hey, you know what, let's do a virtual date through Zoom or FaceTime. I'll send you your favorite food. You can send like, you can maybe send like something close to them. They can send something close to you, and you know, like sort of talk about it, just sort of trying to do something a little bit innovative, especially maybe if you can't physically be together during that time. Maybe someone has to quarantine. Maybe, you know, they're not really feeling great. So I think sometimes like just being creative as far as that goes, that's actually sort of cool. Even just doing like a Zoom or FaceTime date. And I think it's also important too, if you do that, like set the mood. Like don't have like, you know, a pile of laundry behind you. I saw one person, it was like they were laying in a pile of laundry. I'm like, I'm sorry, where are you right now? Like, are you at the laundromat? Are you in your bedroom? I have no clue. But like at the same time, put some effort into it. Like, get a glass of wine, put some music in the background, like show up. Don't show up in your pajamas. Like show up like you would a date. You know what I mean? Like, again, maybe you have some leggings or pajama pants on the bottom, but like, you know, try to show up in a way that you're showing people some attention. But I really liked even just the idea of like, even like sending food or something like that, that might brighten someone's day. Maybe it's a favorite food that they have, drop, even if you, I mean, I don't know, there's so many different things you can do now with different apps. I do like the fact, like in the summertime, especially, like I said, like eating outdoors is better. I've been on a boat ride. I've been to like a park, and like the person even brought food to the park, set out and like picnic table. You know, just different things like that, which I think, again, it does sort of push you to think of things a little bit differently. And like Aaron said, it's like it doesn't make it so cliche, like we're going to dinner. Then from dinner, it's like, oh, or we're gonna get a drink. I mean, sometimes it's nice to be able to think of other things. The other thing too that I've seen is, you know, once you maybe get to know someone a little bit better, if you, or maybe you're in an established relationship, again, like Michael said, like reservations are sometimes issues. You can even do like home, like paint nights, do some things like that and stuff, like a virtual like escape room. There's some things like that that you can even do either from your respective places or together, and just trying to like, you know, keep like, you know, trying to keep things alive. I think what can be really tough with couples, or if you're single and date, or and in the process of dating, is things can get really stale very quickly if you're not trying to have conversations about, you know, the relationship or what you're looking for, and trying to pair that with an activity. I think some people can be really lazy about that. So you're having to think of, maybe you do a game night, maybe you, I don't know, host a virtual couples thing or whatever, or have some friends and get to meet, like in terms of some kind of virtual forum. But trying to just be creative and show up the best way you can under the circumstances, I think for me is key.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, don't come like a slob laying in bed and everything like that, and eating Doritos and like, you know, things are everywhere. Your family's here, someone's screaming. It's like, that is the biggest turn off, especially when you're getting to know someone, for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, I wanted to ask you guys, so like one thing too is like, what do you guys think, like even in terms of like if somebody, and I don't know if this has happened, if you have social media, or that person has social media, do you ask them ahead of time, like, oh, what's your social media? And if so, do you try to friend them while you're dating, or do you like, what do you do with that?
I guess with me, I'm always, I do the social media right away. I guess I just don't really think, now that you're mentioning it, now it's putting my mind into it, but I always just automatically stop following somebody or give them my social media. Or sometimes I mean, a lot of times I meet people on social media already. So I always do, but I can see how that can benefit you though too. I don't know. I think that if you look through their page, you can kind of get to know, well, I mean, not everybody's honest on their social media. I mean, this is a really good topic. I gotta think about this one. I'm waiting to hear what everyone else says, and then I'm gonna think while they talk.
Okay.
I think social media can definitely benefit. I mean, it can go against you and for you. I think if you're someone who just posts, I hate myself. I hate today. I hate it's Sunday. Oh boy, I gotta wake up Monday morning. Oh geez. I think if you're constantly posting negative stuff or you just or I mean calling out people, starting fights on Facebook and all that stuff. If that you're constantly doing that, then yeah, you can look at that person and be like, you're gonna stay over there. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stay over
that's true.
here. But I think it's also a pro too. I think if you're able to see what someone's doing, especially if they're successful or have businesses or working towards things or doing things, and I think if you see someone doing well and they also have a lot of support too. If you see people like nonstop comment, liking, sharing their things, I think that definitely can make you more attractive. As far as for asking for social media, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just never I've honestly, it's just never something I think about. I'll go and go, oh, I want your Facebook tonight. Like I
Okay.
don't do that. Maybe I could. Maybe there could be a way because I think it definitely does um, help. But like Aaron said, like I said before, I'm just in the moment when like I just like that's secondary. If they want my social media or something, like yeah, I'll give it to them. I don't ask unless I'm like joking around with them, like as friends, and I'm like, oh, I think we took the next step is social media time. Like it's more in like a joking way. But I think it's definitely something that's you can probably tell the first time you look at their profile that okay, I'm not talking to this dude anymore or this girl anymore. I'm done
Yeah.
tonight. It's over.
Yeah.
It's not happening. Or you could say, oh, maybe I got to fight for this guy or fight for this girl, and we got to we got to make this happen.
Hmm.
I was gonna say I've been judged before for not having a social media. Like a first date has went well, and they'd be like, "Well, I tried finding you, I couldn't find you." And then when I say I don't have it, they'll look at me like I'm a serial killer.
Yeah,
I
I
think
can
it's
see that.
It's
like
mysterious.
it's understandable why people look at people's social media accounts after they meet somebody or before they meet somebody. I understand
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, I think it's tough because I've had times where people have asked for my social media and I'm like, whoa, 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 like, wait a minute. Like, and obviously that was previous to doing the podcast, but I think sometimes I also don't want people, not that I have anything bad, but I almost feel like in some ways because my social media page had been private with Facebook, that I also feel like some of the things like I almost want to explain my story or share my narrative with you in the time that I feel more appropriate. So like not that I have anything, like I said, nothing bad, but it's also sometimes I feel like I don't know if there could be like possible like misconceptions where I'd like to sort of control the narrative a little bit more, or I'd like to talk to you a little bit more if you have any questions or like organically get to build and get to know you in that way. So I don't know. I go back and forth with it. I mean, I did see something recently though that said, and I'd like to know your thoughts on this, but like a lot of times, like if a man or woman doesn't add you, like say, things are, you're dating and they have a social media page, they have vice versa, each other has a social media page and you are not friends on social media, is that person particularly, are they trying to hide something?
Mm.
And that whole thing with like changing that relationship status, when it comes to social media, do you do it, do you not do it, are you, sometimes it can be tricky because if someone is dating multiple people, they might not necessarily want you on their social media.
Yeah.
I think sometimes though too you can tell based on, sometimes with people's sites, if like you go on someone's site and it's, I'm looking at a guy and they have 4,000 friends and half the women are half naked, like I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I'm probably
Yep.
not, yeah, this is, I don't want to be part of that club, I'm not part of that. So I don't know. What do you think, Val?
Yes, this is like a whole section on its own. So personal preference, if I don't I all right, so it's weird with social media because I personally, every time I start dating someone, I automatically don't want to stop putting pictures of me and them up. I
Yeah.
don't I am like, okay, so I'm a private person um when it comes to like that kind of stuff, but it's not because I'm trying to play them or anything. It's just that like if you get a picture of, if I put a picture of me and you up on the page, we are like legit, we have gone through, like we've leveled up in many different ways because it's kind of you know, I see it all the time. Like people, like no judgment if anyone's listening to this and they do this, but you know, they'll have one person up and then like a couple of months later, everything gets taken down and then another person's up and then a couple minutes down, you know, and it's like, I just think like sometimes you need to keep your private life a little private.
Yes.
However, not being friends on social media, like I've had relationships where we were, and then some of the activity that they were doing was suggesting that they were doing things that were not like you wouldn't do if you were in a relationship. Now all of a sudden we shouldn't be friends on social media. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
You know, I think you can see a lot in social media. Not that you like have to, you know, stalk people, but like you said, if they have a zillion women that they're following and they're all half naked, there's no real reason why they would be following these women other than, you know, these women are there are people out there that just do that on their page. You know, that's all
Mhm.
no disrespect to anyone who does that either. That's their thing. But if I'm with somebody and they're following them, why are you following them? What, you know, you can be friends with women, you know, they could, you know, have some kind of value in your life. But if that's all they're posting, why are you liking all their pictures over and over and over again while you're with me and they're naked? Like, what's
Yeah.
right? So, like,
What
how
would be the draw?
serious
Like,
can I
why are
take
you with
you?
me if this is what you're looking for? Yeah, because I'm not
That says a
necessarily
lot.
about that.
Yeah, that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
See what women see. I'm the opposite. If I'm with a girl or something and she likes another dude's picture, it's it's okay with me because I guess I have that trust. Me necessarily, I might not. You know, I might watch what I like in that regard, unless unless it's a close friend, and if it's a close female friend or someone I support or whatever, then I'm gonna like that picture. I don't care what you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like that
Yeah.
picture. And if a girl wants to like a dude, who knows what that dude could have been a close friend for years. That dude could have been that. So like I honestly they can like whatever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, with me in terms of social media, it doesn't really affect me. I think maybe like when I was in high school, that was a big thing. Like, oh my god, she liked his picture. Oh my god, but she's talking to me like that. I think that was a high school thing for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like moving up, it was like business too. It's like if you don't answer a message right away, but you see, your significant other posting on social media for business or other purposes. I don't think that's something to get mad about either. Of course, there are plenty of people who might, you might see them post a story, but yet they haven't answered your message yet. And I think a lot of people,
Like, I know you have that phone in front of you.
it's like a lot of people jump to the gun, and again, that's something I had to get better at, and I think I'm very nice at that now. Where okay, they're doing their thing. You don't need to answer my text message. We can go out and talk. You don't need to answer my message. I don't need to answer your message all day long. You do your thing. So I think social media can definitely, if you're a person who needs, I think what's the word? If you're a person who needs that validation, like, oh my god, they're not liking this dude's pictures anymore. They only like mine. That's it. I don't know. I don't know. I think the big word is trust, and if you can trust, if I can trust Melissa that she's liking another dude's pictures, but we're close, then okay, fine with that. I think that's the big word, trust.
Mm-hmm. So what would you guys say in terms of like, again, we talked about dates, going on dates. How do you know, like, this date actually went really well? I don't know, like, what are some things personally that you are looking at in terms of ideal dates? And then even some things that it's like, this is a complete deal breaker when we go on a date. Like, and I'm talking about like at this point, like more of like even a physical, like once you get to like an actual physical date. What are some things that you think are ideal in terms of, things are going well, or things that you're like, no, I'm all set? Aaron?
Usually, for a date, I feel like the onus is on the man to figure out what we're going to do, and I try to do things that her and I have not done before, because I feel like you can tell a lot about somebody if they're not good at something,
Mm-hmm.
or if they're open enough to try something that they've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say a deal breaker. I'd have to steal from you, Melissa. Poor manners or improper etiquette is no. I don't do that at all.
Yeah, definitely. We're on the same page there, Aaron. Definitely on the same page. What would you say, Val?
So a deal breakers for me, I don't like I don't like when people I like when people are their genuine self, and I don't like when people I can tell very early on when someone's trying to impress me by bragging about certain things. I don't like that. I don't like the same way how I say, don't go out on a date and try to morph into someone else's, like, be yourself. I like when someone is their self with me and they're their genuine, honest self. It says so much to me. So if somebody, I've gone on some dates where people have just, they're bragging, I got this, I got that. And it's like, that's so unimpressive to me. And it's actually kind of a turn off, like, don't try. I want to know who you are. Like, I don't care what you have, like, not that stuff. Like, I don't know, that's just too shallow for me. Like, I want to know genuine, like, who are you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like bragging. It's a real big turnoff for me. The other thing that's a turnoff for me is, again, everybody's different, but for me, I don't like when somebody automatically is starting to talk about physical stuff, like wanting, like, like hooking up and stuff like that, like automatic. Like, you just met me and you're already expecting these things from me. Like, that's not the kind of woman I am. Everybody's different, right? But I feel like you're not getting the chance to get to know me. Is that like why we're here? Like, you know what I mean? Like this isn't why I'm here. So that's like, to me, if somebody's coming at me aggressively like that, I don't want a second date with them, just because that's not what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get to know somebody first. And another one for me, and again, this is personal, like, just a personal thing. The thing with me is, I like a gentleman, right? And I like a man who's going to, like, especially the first date, pay for the date, right?
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, like, to me, this is for me. I can buy my own stuff my own way, and if we get to know each other and we start going on dates, of course, like, it'll be different. But for the first date, like, you got to be a gentleman. That's for me. Like, I think it's and it could be because, my dad is a gentleman and he's like that and he's the provider. I was brought up like that, the man pays. So and like I said, it has nothing to do with money, right? Because I can pay, you know what I mean? It's just that, like, it's a good feeling, like, when you're on a date with somebody, like, the man pays.
So there's men out here who don't pay for the date?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
My sister dated like 6 of them. I wanted to say that. It's like Aaron, I don't know about you, but, like, I can't get into the mindset of you ever, like, just not looking at it. I'm like,
I don't know.
okay, where's your half? You want to split? Like, I just can't, like, no, like, no. And again, there's a line though. There is, if I go out with Val, we've been on 4 or 5 dates, and you look at me and you're like, please let me get this round, or
Right.
take care of it. I was shocked. I went out with a girl once who actually paid. I went to the bathroom and I come back and the check wasn't even on the table. I came back and she, like, we went on the rest of the night and she was like, all right, we're all set. Paid the bill. I was like, okay. I was like, thank you. I think in terms of, some men can take it overboard, like, they can get mad at you and say, why did you pay? You shouldn't have done that. Blah blah blah. I'm not that type. If you I'm gonna always take advantage. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pay. I'm gonna pay no matter what. But unless if we've been out and you're like, no, please, 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 you like slap me on the face and you're like, let me pay. Okay, I'm not gonna say, no way, no, you're not doing it. I'm the man. I'm the man. No,
Yep.
I think there can definitely be a healthy balance there, but I can't get into the mindset of a man who wants to go Dutch on a first date, even if it's horrible, even if it's a terrible date. I don't care. Like, you especially if 90% of the time the man is asking the girl out, or if you're asking the girl out, or even if the girl asks you out, I'm sorry, like, you still pay. Like, and I don't take it disrespectful if a girl doesn't even offer. If a girl offers, like, oh, thank you, but no, no,
That's what I was
I
gonna ask.
got this
Like,
one.
what, for you and Aaron, like, what do you think in terms of, do you want the woman to offer to pay?
No.
Should she
No.
make the
Nope.
I
Nope.
could care less.
okay?
Nope.
Because I was
not at
gonna
all.
say, so many dates, I'm like, ugh, like, go to grab it because I almost feel awkward, but then at the same time, I'm thinking, you accept the offer. In some ways it's almost like, okay, like, was this person willing to pay? Were they not going to pay? I mean, I also feel like at the same time, I feel very strongly about the fact that if you cannot afford to date, then you should not date. I mean, I do feel like there's certain things, or don't go to a place and then think like, oh my gosh, I only have, $50, so I'm going to let her know she's getting a salad. I mean, it's like, that's not okay either. And I mean, especially, we're not talking about teenagers or someone maybe in college students, you're sharing a pizza or something. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about grown people showing up. And I think the thing too, for me, and like I said, I mean, I'm certainly someone that, I mean, again, like Val, I have my own. I certainly can pay. That's not the point. But there is something there about wanting to be like caring for someone, or a man showing up and feeling like, I'm here, I'm showing up for you, and like, I'm showing up for us. And I have respect in this process for your time and getting to know you. I think that says a lot. I do have to say, though, I see it on the flip side, and I do know some women, and I'm sure men, that do not order some crazy things. This is my rule in general. Do not order anything that you would not be paying for yourself. Okay. I have seen that with some people, in the sense that they're going, knowing that it could even be friends. You're going out, okay, we're going to take so-and-so out for their birthday. They're now ordering a lobster surf and turf dish and a filet mignon. However, if they went out on their own, they're ordering chicken tenders. Do not do that. That is actually pretty like classless, I think, in the sense that it's like, don't do that either. I mean, and a lot of times I know, like, even for myself, if I knew, like, say someone was taking me out for my birthday, it could be a friend. I mean, I might order one drink, two tops. I'm not going to order 5 drinks because I know it's on someone else's tab. So also have some, self-respect and some demeanor that, like, come across as a class act. Do not be ordering things that you're just being completely obnoxious about. Especially, I would say, if you wouldn't pay for this yourself, do not order this now on a date in a way that you're just being like completely greedy and ridiculous, and just taking advantage. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Have you experienced that? What are your thoughts?
Yes.
I think that, I mean, I'm a little bit conservative or traditional in that sense. I will get offended if you reach for your purse or your pocketbook to pay. I feel like all of that ties in the same way that you shouldn't have to open a door, whether it be a door to the restaurant or a car door. It harkens back into what Val said. Like, you're not meeting someone the first date. You're meeting their representative. You're meeting whoever they're putting their best foot forward.
Yeah.
So I feel like certain things, gender-wise, it's like the onus is on the man, and it should stay that way. And there's really no gray area.
Bill and I are happy.
Yeah, and it's like,
we're like, okay, we'll take it. Yeah. What do
I
you think,
agree.
Michael?
no, I was gonna say, and it's like some women actually like get shocked, like they're like,
Yeah.
"Open the door for me," and it's like, yeah, what's wrong with this? And I I agree with Aaron. Like, I'm like, not to say again, I'm a man. Like, man makes a choice. No, like on dates and stuff, like, you open the door. You should always be respectful. And again, I think some women don't like. They're like, wow. Even if you don't pick them up, even if it's a first date and the girl wants to meet you, which is fine, fine. It's a comfort
Exactly.
level. You can at least, if you have the opportunity, try to open the door, their car door.
Yeah.
And then when you walk away, you just hopefully think that they pull a Bronx tail and they reach over and unlock your door for you.
I messed up with that one time,
Yeah.
It's weird that you say that, because the last relationship I was in, he did that I never even knew that, right? And he did that thing, and I didn't open the door, and he gave me, like, I'll never not do that again. Like, I learned my lesson. If anyone opens the door, I'm immediately going over and unlocking your door. And I kept saying, well, it already was unlocked and it was already this and that. And no, I like learned that lesson. I learned that lesson quick.
And I think too, to answer the like the dating disasters and ideal dates, I think in terms of, we can go negative first. I think the disasters is the biggest one. If the conversation just doesn't flow, if you're just sitting there and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, how about this? Okay, how about, and it's just no flow, no fun. That's automatic. It's like, okay, we might end this early tonight. Like, I'm just not, we have no connection, whatever. Like, I'm still gonna pay. I'm still gonna be a gentleman. But the flip side, what really is cool to me and ideal with me is if a girl can actually, yeah, you want to make an impression on each other. Like, of course, I want to impress you and be, and make an impression. But I think when you can just be, you see a girl be themselves. Like when you see like with the lady, singing these songs that coming on the radio, or whatever music's playing, or they're just laughing, and it's not like an interview. It's not like, so what's your thoughts on this? Do you like instant rice or instant oatmeal? Like, it's like, what, like, it's a fun. Sorry, and that's, I'm a goof, and in the nicest way possible. I will say, when a female is fun. I won't say goof, because that's a tough word to some people. When they're fun and they're just themselves, and the conversation flows when it's not like an interview, that is definitely like, okay, like, she feels comfortable, I feel comfortable. I'm gonna be myself no matter what.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think that's definitely an ideal thing. And I think too, I'm one of the type, like, yeah, I like the kayaking and stuff. First date, to me, is just like, if you can just sit and like feel the vibe of someone just sitting down, and then maybe the second date, that's when we go for the fun. That's when we do, even something is like a Dave and Buster's. Like, I love that place. Like, that's fun, doing something fun like that. But I think just the vibe, and if the other person acts like themselves around you, again, with manners, in a respectful way. But if they can move around. They're talking, they're laughing, they're joking. The way they interact with a waiter or waitress, I think, is
Mhm.
huge. And other people, can they
Mhm.
spark up conversations with other people, which is very attractive. Um, I those That's what makes an ideal date. But if the conversation isn't going anywhere, and again, they're ordering like the most expensive things on the menu because they know they're not offering to pay. Um, those are definitely some dating disasters.
Yeah, no, I also agree. I think my ideal thing is just a man with etiquette, a gentleman. I think I believe in, like, again, like, make it chivalrous, make it romantic. Like, that's going to draw me in the sense of someone that feels like they're showing up and they're planful and they're deliberate in their approach. And I think, like, some of the biggest things, like walking ahead of someone. Like, if you're one block down from where, I don't care if I'm walking at a snail's pace, you need to be right by my side. And you need to be, if we're on like at a sidewalk, like, I should be in the inside, you should be on the
Mhm.
outside, like a man, like, and I think there's a lot of things like that where it's like, that just shows me a great deal of respect, even if it's from one of my male friends. It doesn't necessarily even, again, have to be a romantic relationship, but I think it says a lot about, you're investing, you're showing me that you're worth investing in, because you have respect for yourself, you have respect for other people, you know how to show up. And I think that says a lot. And I think, again, like a dating disaster, like Val had said, someone that's not being genuine. I know sometimes that, like, people are like saying certain things. I think my biggest thing too is like just put downs. Like, if someone, and sometimes people say it in a very joking way, but if someone's like going to be putting you down about certain things, like, oh, hey, like, I remember one time being on a date and this guy, he's like, whoa, like, that's a huge purse you have. Like, oh, that's cool, or something, like, and you're thinking, like, okay, like, this is just weird. This is just awkward. Like, just in a way that it's like, I don't even understand, like, it's not really funny, or I don't know, just some things that it just doesn't seem like, it just seems off. And sometimes I think if something feels off, then believe that. I mean, I think a lot of times, like, we know early on, like, is this someone I can feel comfortable with? I mean, granted, we sometimes all have nerves going into dates, but is this someone that I can build a level of comfort with, and, like, I feel like I can trust their intentions? Or is this somebody that it just seems like they've got a lot of extra baggage they're bringing into this date? And that brings me to the question too. Do you feel like, from relationships that you've had or experiences that you have, that the first date, I'm sorry, Michael, are you okay?
I have one final thing about this.
Oh,
If
okay.
if you're planning on canceling already, like,
Yes,
you're
say
getting
it.
that number,
I'm like, tell it.
and you're already planning to like not show up, like just don't even give us the number. like I snort because that's when I think of something really funny. But it's the truth because when you're not gonna show up, don't wait till the day before to say I'm not coming. I can't. I got called into work. Just say you're not interested, or say you're not ready yet, or whatever. I'm sorry. That's I think that's a disaster. That's a dating. That's just like
Cancellations,
no yeah. That's just like no respect
yeah.
right there. Like if you already
Someone's
thought
time.
yeah, if you now again, there's legit things that happen, of course, but
Mhm.
like if you're already in your head, like all right, I'm just gonna get this dude away from me. I'm gonna give him his number. Yeah, we'll go out next week, and I'm gonna cancel on him the day before. Like, for some people, okay, they got plenty of time in their schedule. For busy professionals and people who are growing their life, they only have limited time, and then they're planning that night with you, and then you cancel on them. Like that's just no. And dudes too, dudes can do that to women too. Like you set up a date, but you're already knowing you're not wanting to go out with them. It's on us to not do that either. It's on us to be respectful as well. So I think definitely that.
Aaron, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, I just wanted to add on how you were talking about walking on the right side of the sidewalk and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I feel like as men, it's showing not only exactly how you said, showing respect for ourselves, also respect for you, but it shows that if this were to blossom into something similar to a relationship, it shows I'm going to treat you with care. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. That says so much. I think that definitely says so much. I think the other thing too, like what even adding to like what Michael was saying, I think the other biggest thing is okay, not showing up, or the opposite that I've seen is someone that's just not going to be committal about plans in general. So like I've had times where it's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll hit you up over the weekend. No, don't hit me up over a weekend. If you want to have a date with me, you call, you ask me on a date, and we make a solid plan. I'm not somebody that you're going to call on a Saturday because you're driving through or you have some extra time on your hands.
Right.
That's not it. And I feel like, like also, it's like, okay, that might work. That's fine when things are established. Hey, listen, not sure I have time this weekend. Can I give you a call Saturday? Maybe we can get a movie or, something like that, get dinner. That's fine when maybe things are established and that's okay with that other person. But I find that people also that are non-committal and along with canceling, think very closely if this person is worth your time. Because, and even if they try to, I mean, and granted, like Michael also said, there are circumstances where people are like, I am so, so sorry. My child is sick. Something came up. I am so, so sorry. Can I reschedule? And, have like a legit thing and say, can we please reschedule? Even if you're available next weekend, and almost like they're really trying to make a real effort to like, this never happened. I really apologize. I'm happy to even take you out. I am so, so sorry. And realizing that's coming from a genuine place. But I do have to really warn people, men and women alike, if someone is not giving you the appropriate time in terms of seeking out a time to get together, they are canceling, do not let that happen more than one time. That happens again and there's another cancellation. I mean, I would say even for the cancellation, okay, I'll let it happen once. But if you see that that's a pattern, like don't let it happen a second time. Same thing. Do not allow yourself to be available all times of the day and night. I'm very firm about this in terms of people calling you at certain times of night. This time's, oh, hi, you awake? I am absolutely awake. I am absolutely not answering. Okay. And I'm very firm about that. I am not answering the phone because at the same time, it's setting the tone for somebody that thinks that they can take all day long and they're going to contact you at a late hour, and then they're going to say, hey, like, what's going on? It's like, I have no clue what's going on because it's not over a year. I will tell you that right now. So also, and I think it goes back to like Val and I, like the segment we did on the relationship series, Love Thyself. If you know your own value, there are so many things that you are not going to tolerate when it gets to the point of dating, and nor should you. And it's not to be, a lot of people say like, oh, you're tough. Yeah, I am. I do think I am tough in a lot of ways because at the same time, I have been hurt. I have been disappointed. But at the same time, I have to honor my time. I know my worth. And I also know what I'm able to bring to a relationship and don't take that lightly and want to invest in someone that's certainly worth the investment.
Yeah. And I agree with that 100%. And you teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
So if you let something like that slide, but it really made you upset, then they're not going to know unless you know, and they're going to think that this is, we're getting to know each other, and they're going to just keep doing it. And then after the 5th time, you're going to start to now you're going to tell them that this isn't acceptable, or, you have to have your standards and your boundaries ahead of time. And if they're doing something that you don't like, then you got to let it be known right away. You got to nip it in the bud right away, or, or consider if you want to continue, how serious it is, if you want to continue entertaining this person. But, you are in control of what you allow and what you don't allow.
That's very true. Very, very true. I just want to jump to common misconceptions of the opposite sex. So just thinking about it, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that you feel like you have of the opposite sex? And maybe up until recently realize wow, that actually was a misconception. Maybe I have been thinking about things a little bit differently than maybe how people actually are presenting themselves or how they really are. I'll start off with mine. So my biggest misconception, I have to say, and I think from doing these podcasts is I really felt like guys, for the most part, were very unaware in terms of being on the dating scene, and also sometimes just not really taking the time that they need in terms of being prepared to date. And I think I've actually have to say, I have been pleasantly surprised that guys are putting in the work. I think a lot of guys are putting in the work. And unfortunately, there's men and women that taint the rest of the batch in the sense that they're not putting in the work. They're showing up not, together. But I have to say, I have been actually really surprised with the fact of, even with guys that have reached out about the podcast, things that they've really been putting in the work, having conversations with the couples edition that I did last week. I have to say, it's actually been talking to you guys. I really do feel like men want to do the right thing. I think they want positive relationships just as much as women do. And I really applaud you guys for actually being self-aware and having the standards that you have, because I think a lot of times I know as women, we can sometimes think oh, guys are just so oblivious to these kind of things. But I'm sort of excited to see that that's not the case and that I was proven wrong in that way.
Yes.
Do you have any misconceptions, Val?
I agree with you. I'm trying to think, I guess, when you come across a typical, I'm trying to see how I can word it, but if you either way you go, with guys with girls or girls with guys, whatever, if you come across the same type of person over and over again, you start to think that everybody's like that. Every female is like this, every male is like this, right? So if you come across, let's say, men like that, if I come across men who seem to be not honest all the time, or trying to playing games, right? I come across a few different people like that, then I start to put that in my head, are they all like this? And then it will take me to meet one really nice person, or see someone in a relationship with a really nice guy who's not playing games, for me to be no, that's not true. Stop putting every negative experience with someone, and don't stop putting everybody in that category, right? And stereotyping everybody, because of a few bad experiences that you have. So I would say just men, not, I guess one of mine would be, are there any really honest men out there right now?
Yeah.
That would be one of my misconceptions. I feel like this time that we're in, there's a lot of, in my mind, a lot of people who are not, really taking, I would say a lot of friends with benefits situations, and not anybody who really wants a real deep connection relationship with one woman, right? And some men will say that they do want that, But then when it comes down to being in that role, seems like they can't break away from the, friends with benefits situation. They want to say like, yes, we're in a relationship, but then they want to kind of treat you like, no, we're friends with benefits. Like they want to put the word there, like the label, like the title, but then still carry out this, scenario. So that's been my misconception. I would say that I have to stop looking at that every guy's like that, and that there are really genuine people who say this is what I'm looking for, and they actually really are looking for that, not just to get to me, to appease me because that's what I'm looking for.
Exactly. Be like really meeting you where you're at and actually meaning it.
Right.
I think another misconception is that all women want to play games. And I think that's true with a lot of women. I think it's true with a lot of guys. I just think it's different with the situation. Like if you have a woman who flakes, or I like to say the word flake because 90% of the time it's a flake. They're not canceling for a legit reason. But if they cancel on you, you're gonna think, oh, okay, every girl I date is gonna cancel on me. Or if you meet a dude that if you meet if you ladies meet a guy who's not a big texter, you're gonna say, oh, all right, not every guy wants to be texted a lot, and maybe that's why he walked away from me. I think every situation is different. I think you just learn from what you go through. But like you said, Valerie, it just depends what you go through, and you can't think, oh, Melissa, she's probably not going to want to text all day, or she doesn't need me to text all day, or she's going to cancel on me, whatever it is. I think that's unfair to that other person, and I think for women, to us too. I think women can maybe think that all guys are jerks, all dudes aren't gentlemen. There's no more gentlemen in the world, and then it makes people like me and Aaron, who are clean cut gentlemen, and believe in all the manners and stuff like that. They can have an effect and say, oh, there's no gentleman. I'm not dating. I'm just looking to have fun. So I think I think it's specific to what you go through, what you pertain, and it's just not letting that affect the other people that you come across. I think everyone should have a clean slate, at least, whether that clean slate lasts through one date or 20 years, whatever. It should be a clean slate, every person.
That's true. What would you say, Aaron, are some of your common misconceptions of the opposite sex?
I think, well, most recently, I think probably texting. Sometimes I'll text people because I'll assume I don't want to interrupt their day, and then I'll ask the opinion of my sister or a couple of my friends who are women, and they'll say, no, you should call. It's good for them to hear your voice here and there. So I think my biggest misconception where it's better to text rather than call, when I've heard the opposites. Now, everyone's different. I'm not saying that applies. But
I agree 100% with
you. No, I agree. I think and again, I think some of that too is all about communication. Like if the person's worth your time and energy, you should be able to communicate some of these things too. So like, I think, and that does dispel some of these misconceptions. Like, I think I've started asking people like, so do you like to text or do you like to talk on the phone? And if they honestly say, oh, I only text, then I have to say that's probably not the person for me, because I know that I need communication in different forms. And that doesn't need to be 24/7. I'm busy during the day. I have a job, but at the same time, I need to feel like someone's going to take the time to have conversations as well as, just being available by text. So again, I think communication is also key when it comes to all these. The last topic that I want to talk about, that we've all taken our test regarding love languages by Gary Chapman. And we know that there's definitely several different love languages, and I'll certainly project those. There's 5 different love languages. Each of us took a test. And basically, I want you guys to talk about what your respective love language is. And then in addition to that, what your love language is, how do you feel like that might actually inform you in the future regarding your dating experiences? So if you do decide to date, like, do you think that that's as actually helpful information? Would you actually encourage someone or possibly talk about the love languages? What maybe some of the, did it give you some additional insight in terms of what you need? So just basically a recap. I know we've talked about this in other podcasts, but the love languages by by Gary Chapman is basically a way that we perceive and give love. So how we need to be loved and also how we love others. And by knowing someone's love language, it gives us some additional information about what people need to feel loved. So the first one is words of affirmation. A lot of times that might be encouragement. It could be in the form of compliments, but basically someone saying how they feel and communicating. Physical touch is another one in terms of more nonverbal communication. Receiving gifts. That could be just even a small token just to let that person know that they're thought of and admired. Quality time, that's uninterrupted time with someone and not someone looking at their text, like text messages or anything like that, feel like they're actually able to really connect in that time. And acts of service. So acts of service would be that you're really knowing that someone's there to shelter the burden with you, maybe by even helping you do some things. Maybe it's some home improvement things, or maybe it's just even something small like, hey, let me go shopping with you. Can I help you with anything? And really just showing that what they're actually feeling through actions. So I just wanted to show you those. And I'm just interested to know, what is your love language? Was this informative for you, like I said? And, is it something that you would consider in the future?
I have my grade. I have my grade, so
Okay.
I am a 0% in receiving gifts, so I guess I don't like gifts. Nothing at all.
That's perfect.
I don't like anything. 10% acts of service.
Okay.
I'm kind of lost as to what that was. That was like just doing the small actions with each other.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
then,
what's your top one?
oh, all right. My top one is quality time, 37%.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, quality.
Oh,
And then words of affirmation and physical touch are 27%.
okay. So like, do you think like in terms of like quality time, Mike, did you feel like that was something when you did see that seemed pretty true to like what you are currently looking for? We also realize the love languages can change over time too.
Yeah, I just think it just goes to the point of just being in person with someone. That's
Yeah.
it. You know.
And having that like time where you're able to genuinely connect.
Yeah, quality time is not texting all day long. You know, like I'll answer you, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not quality time. Like even a phone call. I mean, phone call or a video, like that's a little bit better, but that's not. That's like 98% of quality time is being together with someone. So that's definitely I'm on demand or in no, yeah, I'm on demand. Like I'm on site. I want to be with you, not over the phone. You know, even though the phone would go down there, not my nose, but it would be here. Like I don't want that. I want to be in person with you.
Do you feel like even just knowing that about yourself, like that would inform you a little bit more about like who potentially sort of matches up and is able to offer you quality time? Or would you be interested? Because it's not necessarily like if we have two different things, it doesn't mean that we're a mismatch, but it means that you probably need someone that is going to want to be able to offer you that quality time. And say their thing is, acts of service, then you need to show up in a different way for them. Like, do you feel like that would give you any more information about what you potentially need or what someone else potentially needs when you date?
I mean, sure, yeah, but I think there just has to be an emphasis on the word quality in time.
Mm-hmm.
Not every single day, all day long. Unless again, get down the road, into your relationship and you're living with someone or whatever. That's a different story. But I think in the beginning, like quality time is not every single day, all day texting, all day being with someone, doing everything every single day with them, never taking a breath by yourself. I think quality time is like you're having a quality time maybe once a week in the beginning, once every
Yeah.
couple, whatever. Quality, not a
Okay.
lot of time. Quality over quantity. I think that's the
And I
big.
think you might even have to like really sort of tell someone what that means for you, because again, sometimes like our interpretations of what that means for us may be different.
One amazing night out or amazing like day with someone is so much better than seeing someone every single day or texting someone all week long. Like knowing like that one night, like oh, I get to spend all night with Mike. He's the man. Like that I think that's better than texting or calling someone all day long or spending every single day with someone.
Yeah.
Again, down the road, I think that's okay. Like
Yeah.
cool, but like not, especially not in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Aaron? Like, what did you think? Like, what was your love language? Were you surprised by it? How do you think it might inform you, or will it not inform you in the future?
I was pretty even with the top one being physical touch and quality time.
Okay.
I think that makes sense just because I feel like time is the most valuable thing you have in life. Like you can get back money, you can get back a bunch of different things, but time is the most important. So I feel like quality time makes sense, and physical touch. I feel like a lot of people can say whatever they want, but it really takes someone to show you. And when people show you that they care for you through physical touch, that means a lot. And I think just reminding myself that not everyone's going to receive love the same way that I receive it. And I think too often people confuse, oh, because I like receiving gifts, let me give her a bunch of gifts and she's going to like all these gifts.
That's a great point. What about you, Val?
So I get quality time as well. And I was really shocked doing this test because when I was doing the question, when I was answering the questions, I kind of like quality time came up twice, and that's why I became that category. But I kind of answered for all of them, like they kind of showed up, and all of them kind of showed up, and I can see myself like the affirmations. I see myself in that. The gifts are cool, like all the other things I could see myself in. So I feel like I'm a variety, but it came more so with quality time. And I think maybe because with me, because my life is so busy, I have my kids, I have my business, I work. I feel like when I do make that time and we do have that time, it's not quantity for me, it's more quality. So that's my time to connect with that person, and I value that time. So I guess maybe that's why I like went a little bit stronger with that one. But I can see myself like in all the other categories as well. But I like this, that I was introduced to this, and I finally like opened my eyes to it, because now the next time I am with somebody, I'm going to have them take this test, because I want to know how I can show up for someone the way they want me to show up for them, right? Because I think all of them are kind of attainable. It's just, we do tend to like love someone the way we want to be loved, or think that that's great, but it might not be. And the last thing that I want to do, or anyone wants to do, is not like fulfill the needs of someone that we care about and we want to be with. So I think this is so cool that you get to kind of do this and see that there are differences, and that there's not just one way of like to love someone, that there are multiple ways, and people receive it better, like different ways better.
No, I agree. I definitely think this is like a helpful tool, and it sort of just gives us some place, like a springboard of ourselves. It helps us understand ourselves a bit, and then also, hopefully opening up that conversation and wanting to show someone and appreciate someone and love someone and care for someone the way that they best like can react to that and receive that. Because like you said, I mean, again, like Aaron mentions, like giving someone tons of gifts and then that's not their language at all. It's like, okay, is this person, like, it could even be misconstrued. Like this person trying to like buy me versus, I'm just looking for some quality time. Right. I'm a little bit of an oddball compared to the rest of you in many ways, but in the sense of the love languages, mine is words of affirmation. Like I definitely need to be told certain things, in the sense that I don't want to be guessing like where your feelings are, how you're feeling about things. I like when, people can express themselves. And then secondary to that was acts of service. So I like to see those words backed up by actions. And I think that's huge for me, just in terms of, I don't want to misinterpret your actions. So I do need the words, but at the same time, the actions are really important in terms of it's backing up what you say you're going to do, and consistency is key for me. So, but I think, it's definitely been exciting to see that. But again, it gives us a little bit more information about where we are and where other people are at. And like we know, it can change over time. But no, definitely. Thank you for discussing all those different topics. Hopefully it will be helpful to singles. And I want to wrap up with a quiz. a quiz, like game trivia, I should say. So basically what we'll do is I'm going to ask, there's 7 questions, and I'm going to ask the question, and then if each of you could just answer, just answer the question the best way you think, whatever you think is the answer, and then I'll sort of reveal the question, and we'll see who gets the highest number of points if you're a competitive group. Okay, so this is what do you know about the benefits of single life? This actually came from an article I found from Healthy Day, and it just looks at all different aspects of health and wellness. So basically, the first question is, a large majority of single men wish they were married. True or false? You want to start, Val?
False.
Okay. What do you think, Michael?
True.
Okay. And what about you, Aaron?
It doesn't give the age of the men.
No, the large majority of single men wish they were married.
I say false.
False. 53% of single men were perfectly content without walking down the aisle. Okay. So hold on. Who got so there's 2, 1 and 1, right?
Yeah.
Aaron and Val. Okay. Who's that?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
You guys get the applause, and I get the.
Oh, the applause, yeah. And a boost.
I get that for being wrong.
Okay. In general, women tend to benefit from marriage more than men. True or false?
False. That's me. Sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
True.
Hold on. False.
False. It's actually the opposite is true. Men benefit physically and emotionally more than women.
Oh,
Yes. Yep.
interesting.
Isn't it also true that women live shorter if they're married? Their lifespan is
I
shorter.
actually have heard that as well, but I don't know based on this information, but I think I have heard that. Okay. Single women are more likely to wish they were married than are single men.
True.
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 False.
Come on.
False. Single men are more likely to want marriage. Single women are better skilled at meeting their social needs outside of marriage, according to the psychologist Nancy Saunders. I was actually surprised about that.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. Because, yeah, they say women are known to be ring chasers, but a lot of times actually that's not true.
Wow.
Okay. Married people are more likely than single people to suffer from major depression. True or false?
True.
True.
I'll go true.
True. And that one was true. Married people are more likely than single people to suffer from major depression. Okay. Some of the benefits of being single include A, controlling your own finances, B, more time for travel and adventure, C, having more time for your friends, D, not having to pick up after someone.
I'll go A.
Okay.
Can we pick multiple? Oh no.
You could.
Is this the best out of the 4?
Maybe.
I'm gonna say C.
What do you think, Mike?
I'm gonna say C too. Just C.
This one's a little bit of a trick. It's all of the above, actually.
Ah!
Yeah, it's all of the above. So all of those things are benefits of being single, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. According to psychologist Nancy Saunders, PhD, what's the biggest potential pitfall of the single life? A, self-absorption. This is actually one question. There's one answer. A, self-absorption. B, social isolation. C, lack of stability. Or D, financial insecurity.
A.
Okay. A, self-absorption for Mike.
I say A.
Okay. Self-absorption for Val.
I'm gonna go C.
Lack of stability for Aaron. The answer is B, social isolation. They actually said that's actually the biggest.
That would have been my last one to pick.
Did you? Yeah, I
would have
know.
been my last.
A little bit tricky. So last question, single people are more likely to be introspective and to be happier because of it. True or false?
True.
Mike?
I'm not smart, so can you tell me what introspective means?
You are smart. It's like looking into yourself, like in terms of being able to be more like insightful about who you are as a person.
Oh yeah, true.
I'll go true.
True. Better chance to discover who you are when you're single. And that, which I was like going to say, once again, it brings us back to the relationship series, Love Thyself, the 10 Commandments before you start dating. So again, if anyone wants to watch that, I think it's huge in terms of getting to know yourself, knowing your own worth, and being who you need to be before getting into any relationship. I think is key and one of the common threads. So thank you guys so much for being on this Meetup with MeLa episode. It was awesome to have you guys and just have some of these discussions, and it just goes to show I think there's so much more discussions that can be had when it comes to relationships and the possibility of relationships, possibilities of remaining single, and some of the perks. But I think obviously it's definitely an individual thing, and I think once again you have to do what's best for you, and hopefully if you are going to decide to get into a relationship, let it be someone that's definitely worth your time, worth your energy, and someone that definitely brings out the best in you, and you can do the same in them. So that will be the exciting part about being in a relationship. But if you're not, definitely continue to build yourself, continue to enjoy yourself, continue to be true to yourself. I think that's huge. Any last thoughts?
No, thank you so much. I had a great time on this episode. I had fun. Thank you for considering me, having me on.
Oh no, definitely. I couldn't do it without you, Val. So happy to see you on here again. And definitely thank you so much, Mike and Aaron, for coming on here. Do you guys have anything to say?
I do. I think you're awesome, Melissa.
Yeah, I think
Thank
you're
you.
awesome. I think it's so awesome that you have your own podcast now, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
I'm trying to get back to normal. All right, here we go. No, seriously, I love what you're doing, and this was an honor to come on and be your guest for the first time.
Yes.
I need to learn
Very
better
exciting.
etiquette, but still, it was awesome, and I think you definitely hit on some great topics. So, and you made it comfortable. I think this could definitely be something tough for people to talk about. But you made it comfortable, and I also realized that me and Aaron have a lot in common.
Yeah, and definitely I'll have to introduce the two of you. When
Me and
actually I
Melissa
get a
do.
chance to meet Aaron too.
Me and Valerie have nothing in common, but me and Aaron do.
Val's like, whatever.
There's the fake
He's
laugh,
jealous over the glass that you have, Val.
the corny joke.
Yeah,
I know.
it's
Thank
the
you
glass.
very much for having me.
Glass.
And it's been a pleasure speaking with all of you.
No, thank you so much, Aaron. You gave us definitely some additional insight and experiences. And I think a lot of viewers and listeners will definitely benefit from this podcast and hopefully enjoy it for what it is, and definitely start thinking about some of your own experiences or where you're at in life. And definitely feel free to share that in our comments or with people around you. Again, thank you so much. Stay tuned to more Meetup with MeLa episodes. Again, all the episodes can be found on Meetup with MeLa YouTube channel. And again, you can look at the Facebook Meetup with MeLa, and also Instagram pages as well. Thank you so much, all of you, and definitely continue to enjoy the single life.
Okay, yes, you too.
All right,
Embrace
thanks so
it.
much. Yeah,
Bye.
bye-bye.